Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vitvaram. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitambritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvam Anusantadami Bhagavad Gite Bhavatveshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Sunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangha Padakramopanishadaihi Gayantiyam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadghatena Manasa Pashyantiyam Yogino Yasyantam Navidusura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Yesterday we saw actionlessness in the midst of action. An action in the midst of actionlessness is the vision of an exalted soul. When an individual is acting in this world, when we look at only at the physical level, there are a lot of activities that are there, but the Paramatma, the self within us, remains actionless. And the Prakriti is constantly changing, and that is its nature. So apparently when we are not doing anything physically, there are so many things that are going on with which we don't even know. If you have had your dinner before you came here, you are not doing anything, but a lot of things are going on within your body. Are you doing anything? After eating, you go and sit in one corner, don't disturb me, I am digesting my food. It's happening, it goes on, whether you like it or not. Body grows, body changes, everything around us changes. So, apparent inaction does not mean there is no action. Apparent action, that does not mean there is action. So, in the active presence of the ego, mind, senses, etc., there is actionless presence of the self. In the apparent non-activity of an individual, there is an active presence of Prakriti. So, Bhagavan Krishna says, he who has understood this, even while acting all kind of activities, Krishna Karma Krit, while doing all activities, he is able to focus on the actionless self, changeless self, eternal presence. Karmani akarmaya parshet akarmani cha karmaya sa buddhiman manushyeshu sa yukta Krishna Karma Krit. Sa yukta, he is the most integrated, advanced individual. Now, where do we begin? What is the baby step that we have to take? Krishna, without, hesitating, he says, I'll tell you. This jnanam, knowledge, does not happen unless you believe it. Earlier also I have told you about this. Knowledge is not merely information gathering. Nowadays what we have is so many different means and channels through which we can gain knowledge. Google. One person I said, my wife's name is Google Kaur. I changed, the Punjabis change their name, when after getting married, wife is given different name, Google Kaur. Why? If I ask one question, she gives 25 answers. That's why. So, now, if you put a question there and the answers that come, do you think that all the answers are right? And if you press one of them, another 25 thing will come, 30 of them. And it is on the increase. And which one is right, you don't know. Now, anybody can write anything there. So, our tradition, Hindu tradition holds that which is true can never change. So there are no various variations of the truth. Truth is one. So there cannot be different kind of realizations and enlightenments. There is only one. And to know that there is only one means to it. That is called Shabda Pramana. Shruti Vakya. These scriptures that have been written as Shrutis are not by individuals. This is how the contemplative masters realized the truth and they passed on to the people. Later on it was compiled by Vyasa. So what is found in the scriptures, that is what is considered as the truth. Because the truth is that Trikale api abhadita vastu satyam. That which does not change in many periods of time or 3 periods of time. That which changes cannot be the truth. That which is called the truth, that is not subject to change. That which is subject to change cannot be truth. Why? Because it is subject to change. It cannot remain ever the same way. If it is not changing, then what is said is what is said. So when let us say that I am seeing a flower through my eyes, for seeing that flower, my eyes are the means. This is called pramana. My eyes are the means to see the flower. Through any other means when I see it, a flower experience will not take place. I cannot see the color of the flower through my ears, through my nose, through my tongue, through my touch. The only means to know the flower is only the eyes. Similarly, the only means to know the truth is what is declared there and to be experienced by yourself. Nobody else can do that. So even the scriptures, Upanishads, what they say is, this is what it is and you have to do it yourself. Yamai vesha vrunade tena labhyaha tasyesha atma vivrunade tanam swam. He who chooses this exclusively, he will be chosen by it exclusively. Yam eva esha vrunate. He who chooses this alone, tasya esha atma, to that person, this self, vivrunate, reveals itself. So even the Upanishads, the teachers tell us, this you have to do it yourself. There is no one can do it for you. Just like when you are hungry, you have to eat. No, somebody else eating will not solve your problem. So, to realize one's own nature, the means that are given is the scriptures and the Guru Vakya, the words of the teacher, and thereafter the student has to carry on that on his own, on her own path. So, what is first required is Shraddha. That's why he says in the next verse, you see, Shraddhavan labate jnanam tatparasayatendriyah jnanam labdva param shantim achirena digacchati. Who gains knowledge? He who has faith gains knowledge. Shraddhavan, he who has Shraddha, because the very word Shraddha means Shrad Satyam Dadadi idi Shraddha, that which gives the truth. Even when you are taking up your own profession, whatever profession you have taken up to yourself, is it not that you believed that you can reach there some point of time? You studied and you went ahead and then you applied for that and went on studying and finally you reached where? Because you had a Shraddha, you can do it. When you have a relationship with somebody, you must have Shraddha, otherwise there will not be possible. You can never have a relationship with somebody whom you don't trust. Samshayatma vinashyati. A person of doubt can never be happy. Nayam lokasya na paraha. This world also he cannot enjoy. He can never enjoy any other world. Nasukam samshayatmanaha. A person of doubt has no joy at all. So when you go to another place, and let us say you get into the flight and you buy the ticket, all right. But do you go and check up in the cockpit who is flying this vehicle? And let us see. Show me your flight certificate. Are you still awake when you are flying it, or you are going to sleep? Do you have any doubt? So when you buy a ticket, you believe. You have Shraddha. There is somebody who knows how to fly, is there, sitting there, and hopefully I will reach there in time. If you have a doubt, there are people in this world who will never get into a flight. Why? They are afraid. Oh, on the top, 36,000 people, then I'll come down, what will happen? One person came out and he said to his wife, I think we have to vacate this house quickly, within a week. Why? Because I read in the newspaper, what? That most of the accidents happen within a kilometer from the house. Wherever you go, it will be the same. So when you are stepping outside your home, you have to have Shraddha, everything is, otherwise you will never be able to do anything. So in the same way, in the path of spirituality, what is most important is Shraddha. Shastreshu Guru Vakyeshu Satya Buddhi Avadarana Shraddha. Believing in the words of the teacher and the scriptures is what is known as Shraddha. And I told you earlier also, faith is a path, leads you to fact. Just a blind belief is not what is required. It believes with the belief, it starts with the belief and ends in experience. That is how all sciences are begun also. If you don't believe, you will never start. So here, first one he says, have Shraddha. Shraddhavan labate jnanam. Knowledge is gained when you begin the path with faith. Secondly, the knowledge that is showing you is what it shows you, that you can be free. I can be free. I can be free from my own endless cycles of birth and death. I can be free of my own sorrows. I can be free of my own unhappiness. And there is this state of pure joy, freedom is possible. So that goal has to be kept alive. Tat paraha. Second, keep that as higher. Gurudev used to say, you must keep a goal which you should never reach. Because if you can reach it within no time, then what will you do afterwards? You get bored. The whole life should be spent on reaching a goal which you can never reach. Then only the constant inspiration will be there to keep moving. So tat paraha, that as supreme, the highest, keep that as your goal. Keep working on it. The path to spirituality is constantly under construction. Work in progress. Because there is so much of imperfection that one can notice. Others may not notice, but one who is looking at himself or herself will notice and silently and quietly keep on working on it. That is what sadhana is all about. And the result and the benefit of that reaching that perfection is experienced by oneself. The happiness that one gains out of overcoming one's own imperfection is experienced only by oneself. Your health, who experiences it? your own health, physical body and its flexibility, and yet you enjoy it, your ability to work without without tiredness and without pain. So when you are experiencing it, nobody else can share that because you know it. Isn't it? In the same way, the mental health which is in the form of freedom in freedom in the world, not being caught up in the past regrets and inhibitions and likes and dislikes and anger and lust and passion, greed, that freedom of yourself you experience within yourself. And as you move forward, you gain more and more happiness, not out of things, within yourself. So keep that as the highest. Keep that goal of liberation, tatparaha. And the third and most important thing he says, sanyata indriyaha, ability to have mastery over the senses. Without that, as I said in the first day itself, you are the owner of a chariot. The chariot is the body, the horses are the senses. If you do not have control over the senses, the chariot will be stuck. The sense organs which can take you to different direction should be curtailed and to be tamed and to be given the direction to the place where you want it to go. The horses should not decide where you have to go. Sanyata, controlled, indriyaha, indriyani, senses. That's why in the third chapter itself, Krishna says that the first thing you should do to take care of your desire is tasma tvam indriyan yado niyamya bharatarshava. First of all you should do is to take care of the senses. That is the one where the desires are most active. Papmanam prajahihyenam jnana vijnana nashanam. That is the great enemy. Please take care of that. So when you go for the second serving of the sweet, take your hand, no, stay there. So if you do not have that ability, then you cannot blame anybody else. It is not the tongue that wants. Is that the tongue that wants? Is the tongue going there? Is it the hand going there? No, it is your mind that is going there. Is it not true? Don't say, my hand is Swamiji, I don't know what to do with this hand. Second time it goes there, straight. I am telling, don't go. It's not the hand or the legs or the nose or this. It is the mind. Indriyebhya param manaha. Than the indriyas, it is the mind which is subtle. That is what you have to control. Manasastu para buddhihi. It is the intellect that its understanding is greater than the mind. Buddhehe paratastu saha. And beyond the buddhi is the self. So a self-pervading person has no problem with his senses. Indriyani paranyahuhu indriyebhya parammanaha manasastu parabuddhihi yo buddhe paratastu saha. This is the hierarchy. Sense organs or sense objects do not demand attention by themselves. It is the sense organs which are weak are being overwhelmed by the sense objects. Sense organs by themselves cannot go unless the mind is weak. Mind is not by itself go unless the intellect has no conviction. The intellect has no conviction. It is not by itself is a weak case if you have no self-abidance. The one who can remain in his own, in her self and in its own bliss has no need for, therefore, to worry about the intellect, much less he can worry about mind and the senses and objects. So where do you begin? You cannot rearrange the world all the time. You cannot say, all of you shut up, I don't want to see you. The world will be what it is. You can control your senses. Control the senses through the mind. Mind can be controlled through the intellect, and intellect is appeased by self-abidance. But we are not able to go there. Therefore, he says, Sanyama Indriyaha. Start there, where you can. So, three things. Jnanam, Tatparata, Indriya Niyamanam. faith, because of which one gets knowledge, attention on the goal, and thirdly, it is about control and mastery over the senses. These are the three things, a clear spiritual instruction given by Krishna here. Do that. Don't say Gita is so impractical, Swamiji, it is too much of philosophy. In many places it gives simple instructions. Do this. At an everyday basis, you can practice this. It is hard, difficult for us because we don't see what is applicable to us in our life. So daily study of scriptures is necessary to keep yourself well acquainted with what is your goal. That is why in Sadhana Panchakam also Krishna, Shankaracharya says very clearly, Vedo nityamadiyatam tadudidam karma swanushthiyatam teneshasya vidiyatam apachitihi kamye madistijjatam papoga paridoyatam babasuke dosho nusandiyatam atmaicha vyavasiyatam nijagrihat turnam vinirgamyatam. First thing he says is study your scriptures daily. Even in your professional world, is it not that you are expected to be up to date? Every 5 years you have to write an exam, right? Or 10 years, whatever. So why? You have to be constantly aware of what you are doing and update yourself. So Nityam Vedaha Adiyatam. Study that carefully because that will clarify your goal. What is that which I want to reach there? As you become mature, the clarity also comes. What is unclear, vague to you, becomes more and more clear where you start practicing. So that is why he says, Shraddhavan labate jnanam tatparas sanyata indriyaha. And what is the benefit of that jnanam? Jnanam labdva. When you gain the correct knowledge, param shantim adhigacchati achirena. You gain supreme peace achirena, within no time. Chirena means long time. Achirena, within no time, adhigacchati. A person reaches what? Param shanti, supreme peace. The peace that passeth all understanding. It is not a mental peace. Many people are coming and say, Swamiji, all that I want is just a peace of mind. I said, if your mind is in pieces, how will you get peace of mind? So distracted, so fragmented, how can you get the peace anymore? First of all, find where your mind is. And then let us talk about peace. He is going all over the place. Man ki baat hai. Man ki baat hai. I said not monkey baat. Man ki. It is like a monkey, constantly going, jumping. How will you find peace? So param shantim adhigacchati jnanam labdva. The knowledge takes you to that state of peace. See, that is the difference between the worldly knowledge and the spiritual knowledge. Worldly knowledge makes you get out. Spiritual knowledge makes you come inside. Shankaracharya writes in one place, in Dhanyashtakam, Tadjnanam prashamagaram yatindriyanam. That is knowledge which can quieten your senses. If the knowledge doesn't quiet your senses, that is not knowledge. It is only ignorance. Tajnanam prashamakaram yatindriyanam tadnyeyam yat upanishatsu nischitartam te brahma bhuvi paramartha nischitehaha sheshastu brahmanilaye paribhramantaha. That is knowledge which can quieten the senses. That is to be known what is said in the scriptures. Those people who knows are the great, mostly blessed people. Others, they run around in this world again and again and again. So what is jnanam? That which quietens your senses. Not agitates them, makes them extrovert, distracted. So jnanam labdva param shantim achirena adhigacchati. In due course of time, an individual who gains right knowledge becomes peaceful. So, this knowledge is that which makes an individual grow. So many people ask, what is sannyasa? Is it giving up? No, it is growing up. Don't merely translate sannyasa or renunciation as giving up. It is growing up. See, many times when we give up something, only to pick it up later on. Because at this moment we may not need it. Afterwards you realize, oh, I made a mistake. Somebody asked me yesterday, Swamiji, when you go to Kashi and other places, when you give up, is it okay to take it back again? No, once you give up for life. Oh, that's hard. That's what it is. So when you give up without losing the interest in it, you will pick it up again. So when you give up because you have lost interest in it, that is called growing up. I don't need it anymore. That doesn't happen out of mere immediate some bitter experience. It is understanding and knowing that I am greater than that. My joy is greater than what I get out of this. That is called growing up. So growing up means what? So here in the next verse he says from 5th chapter, Nyeyasya nitya sanyasi yo na dveshti na kankshati nirdvandvo hi mahabaho Sukham bandhat pramuchyate. Nyeyaha, come to know, O Arjuna, saha, such a person, nitya sannyasi is ever renunciate, yaha, he who, nadveshti, he doesn't have any dislike, na kankshati, he doesn't have any likes. Nirdvandvaha, gone beyond these pairs of opposites, Mahabaho, O mighty armed Arjuna, Sukham, easily, Bandhat, from bondages, Pramuchyate, he becomes free. So growing up means going beyond or above your likes and dislikes. That is what is called sannyas, really. It is not the change of name or change of cloth and change of other things. That is not a real sannyas. When we were given, Diksha by Gurudev, when he gave the clothes to us and said, understand one thing, he said, a plant, a small sapling, when it is growing up, you put a fence, right? So that nothing will come and eat away, and other disturbances won't be there. So you might have seen when they put a small plant, they put a fence, right? To protect that very plant. Over a period of time, it is the plant that grows, not the fence. This cloth is only a fence. You grow. It is for others to not to disturb you and not you to disturb others. But the cloth doesn't grow. You have to grow. In the same way, so sannyasa is not the exchange of name. Some people say Swami Gadabhadananda. Why? The name is Gadabhadananda. He said Jagat Guru Sri Gadabhadananda. When somebody said Jagat Guru, who gave you the name Jagat Guru? I had only one disciple. His name is Jagat. I am his Guru. Therefore I am Jagat Guru. Nowadays people keep their own Jagat Guru, Paramahamsa, Yogananda, whatever name you give. That is not important. And keep their own name. Nobody else gives them. He who has risen above likes and dislikes, he is a Nitya Sannyasi. Ever renunciate. And so, what is our path now? See where your likes and dislikes are, where your strong urges are, where your strong hatreds are. That you have to overcome. Then you don't need to declare yourself a sannyasi to anybody. You are already one. So our own strong likes and dislikes pull us here and there, and that is where our mind is occupied in. We are constantly occupied with what we like, and we are trying to get away from what we don't like all the time, morning till evening. So we have to find out where are the pulls and pushes. So one who is able to maintain the balance and integrity, irrespective of the changing external circumstances, and not siding here or there. So he Jneyasa Nitya Sannyasi. It is not those bitter experiences of life that has to teach you. Knowledge is sufficient. You don't need to smoke the whole life and then say at the end, now I realize that smoking is bad. By the time you realize you are dead. Learn from others' mistakes. That's why they put that, caution. Don't smoke or whatever they write. Oh, I understood. What's the point in reading it and then still not doing it? You don't need to experiment yourself to know what is bad. A wise man is one who learns from others' bad experiences. Once I was there in somebody's house and that lady invited me for dinner. So when I reached there, and the lady said, now I start cooking. I said, okay, now what do I do? I'm sitting there. And a plate full of fruits was there. Wow. Anyway, she will take 1 hour or so. Let me eat the fruits. There was a mango there. I polished very well. Oh! It was a wax mango. That's so bitter and sticky. I said, okay. Now I slowly made sure that my teeth, that impressions are not there, and then put the thing in upside down so that they won't see it. Parama Vairagya. Now even if the whole plate you give to me, I will not touch it. Why? I know the reality of it. It is not eatable. Isn't it? So once you know the truth that it doesn't have happiness, will you go for it again? So this inquiry has to take place. Does it really have happiness? Can really add to my joy? If it's mere fancy, then why should I? So growing above likes and dislikes does not mean run away from the world, but just to know. Ajnasya Vijnasya Vishwam Asti. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, for the wise and the otherwise, the world is the same. World is there, but he knows. So he doesn't reject and run away. So many people think sannyas means you run away from. No, you don't need to run away. Because only weakling will run away. Only the escapist will run away. I know it. It doesn't matter whether it is there or not. So one need not deny the world. That is what is called growing up. Just like the child, as I said yesterday, when it is grown up, it doesn't need the teddy bear and other things. Why? Because it doesn't find any happiness in this anymore. It very, very gratefully, with great joy, it gives it to the sister. Take it now. The sister wants, you are giving me your teddy bear? You will give it afterwards to somebody else. Why? I don't find any more happiness in that. That not finding that happiness is born out of knowledge and not bitterness, not unhappy situations of life. So, understand Arjuna, he is a Nitya Sannyasi, he who has no more likes and dislikes. Jneyasya Nitya Sannyasi yo nadveshti na kangshati. Because see, in this world, earlier also in one place Krishna says, Matra sparshast kaunteya shita ushna sukha dukkataha agama apayino anityaha tam tidikshasva bharata. In this world, sense contacts give experiences. Matra sparshaha, contact of the senses. Matra sparshaha, this contact with the sense alone gives sukha dukkadaha. They give sukham and dukkham, joy and sorrow. But understand, agamo apayinaha anityaha tanti dikshasva. Shita, ushna, sukha, dukkha. So what gives you joy now is not the same joy it gives even next day. Or you say during the winter, you put the heat on and because that is comfortable. But during the summer, you don't do the same thing. So what is joy at one point of time is not the joy at another point of time. It's all temporary there. Therefore, when the world around you, in spite of you, whatever you have, whatever knowledge you have, whenever you contact the senses, the world outside through the senses, there will be experience of joy and sorrow. You cannot avoid this. People around you will maybe sometimes they are very good at you, sometimes they will scorn you, they blame you, everything. Tidikshasva, bear them, tolerate them. Titiksha means tolerance. So this tolerance is at the level of physical body, at the level of the mind, joy and sorrow, at the physical body level, heat and cold, at the intellectual level, success and failure. That is called titiksha. At the beginning stage of one's life, one cannot suddenly rise up to the higher level. So first is titiksha, second is samatvam, third is jnanam. So at the one level you bear it, you tolerate. That is why one of the qualifications given to a student is titiksha. Bear it. You cannot change it. Easiest shortcut to life, shortcut to sorrow in life is try to change somebody else. I will give you shortcut to sorrow. You thought that your husband will change after marriage. You found out what happened. Or your children will change. Nah. Nothing changes. And he thinks that she will never change, and she will think that he will change. Nothing. Both of them same. So the man thinks she will never change. She will be always nice to me. She changes. And she thinks I will change him. He never changes. Both of them are miserable now. In India there used to be one cigarette advertisement, made for each other. You have seen that? Will's Flake or something, made for each other. Now the E has to be removed. Mad for each other. Mad at each other. After the marriage, mad at each other. Anyway, I can say all these things now. So, first is the titiksha, tolerance. Because you cannot change. You cannot go on changing this environment around you. The next one is samatva. Look at that with samabhavana. Sukha-dukkhe same krutva labha alabho jaya ajayo tato yuddhaya yujjasva naivam papam avapsyasi. Hey Arjuna, keep your mind in balance. See the sameness in both the situation. Then comes the next level is where jnanam. Understand you are beyond this. These are all only at the matter level. So here he says, he who has risen above the likes and dislikes has gained out of knowledge, not just tolerance. Jneyasya nitya sanyasi yo nadveshti na kankshati. Why? What is that he is able to bear and go beyond? Nirdvandva. Dvandva means duality. The duality are apparently mutually contradicting experiences. Joy and sorrow, night and day, bad and good, are two sides of the same coin. If one side is there, other side will be there. And you don't see it now, that's all it is. Youth is there, old age will come. Joy will be there, sorrow will come. Pratipaksha bhavana it is called. So one who knows the one side alone I am looking for, and the other side is hidden, it will come. So one who knows that, he rises above that. Nirdvandvaha. Without that dvandva affecting him, without the duality affecting him. That is called the nature of freedom, where you don't deny nor you embrace. You understand. Nirdvandvo hi mahabaho, being beyond the dualities, pairs of opposites. Sukham, easily. Bandhat, from bondage. Pramuchyate, he becomes free. So bondage, freedom from bondage or liberation is not going to happen in some other place. Here and now. This is the standpoint of Advaita Vedanta. Ihaiva bhavati, ihaiva bhavati. Here alone and here alone. Liberation is here alone. Don't think that I will go to some place, some loka, and then there I will be happy. If you have that dirty mind, wherever you go, it will be the same. That's why Upanishad said, Iha ched avedi tata satyam asti, na ched iha avedin mahati vinashtihi. If you gain that here, you are saved, you are free. If you don't gain it here, there is no assurance you will gain it anywhere else. So this human birth is given to us as a great blessing to use our intellect and knowledge to become free. Because nobody shows that next birth of you will be human. You may be crocodile or a cockroach sitting inside a rasagulla. So what will you do? You cannot gain any knowledge. Who told you that the next birth will be human? Anybody has showed you? Looking at you, it doesn't mean, it doesn't look like. So when we have gained the human birth, make best use of that. Durlabham trayamaevaitad devanugraha hedukam. This human birth is given as a grace of the Lord. Manushyatvam mumukshutvam mahapurusha samshaya. Human birth and the desire to be free, and if you get all, you get the company of a saint. These three are great blessings. So in this birth alone, in this human birth alone, one can apply that right knowledge and become free right now. Don't postpone it. Sukham bandhat pramuchyate. Thus he becomes free from that bondage. And therefore that person is known as the sannyasin. So if no likes and dislikes, Arjuna would naturally ask, when he works in this world, does he not get affected by the people around him, the way they behave, the way they do things? Won't it get annoying for him? No. Why? Here he says in the next verse, Brahmanyadaya karmani Sangam tyaktva karoti yaha Lipyate na sapapena Padmapatramivambasa Yaha karmani karoti. He who does actions. Sangam tyaktva, without attachment. Brahmani adaya, and offering it to the Brahman, the Supreme. Saha na papena lipyate. Such a person is unaffected by any sin. Padma patram iva ambasa. Ambasa padma patram iva. Like that of a lotus leaf unaffected by the water in which it stays. It's a beautiful example, That's why our national flower is also lotus. Lotus leaf, even though it is in the water cannot touch the lotus leaf. Because of the grease that is there, a little grease, the water you put it on the lotus leaf, it will dance. It will never stick there. Ambasa padmapatram, just like the lotus leaf is not. So even though he works in this world, he has two skills by which he is unaffected. One, anasakti, no attachment to results. So it is easy to say, okay, I will not have desire for the result, but I have the great urge to work. You may find when you are doing any seva and other things, मैं तो सेवा कर रहा हूं, भगवान के लिए सेवा कर रहा हूं, मुझे कोई आसक्ति नहीं है उसमें. You may say, I don't have any attachment to what I am doing, but don't tell me not to do. So I become attached to the work itself. If you say, no, you don't need to do, somebody else, why not? That shows that you are attached to the work. Neither the karma nor the karma phala one should get attached. Swami, that's why I don't do anything at all. that is the worst case. So, result of action you should not seek. That is karma phalatyaga. Phalatyaga means bhoktrutva tyaga. I don't want to enjoy the result. All right. But kartrutva tyaga also should be. I am not the doer while doing action. How will I not think that I am not the doer? And that is where you offer it to Brahman. It is not me who is doing, it is the Lord who is doing through me. Now earlier we saw Prakriti-eva cha karmani. It is Prakriti alone who is doing all the time. Ahankara vimudatma karta ahamidi manyate. A ahankarin is one who thinks he is the doer. Ego is that which thinks I am the doer. But the one who has understood that I am not the doer, it is the Prakriti, the nature, the matter is doing. But little higher than the understanding is neither the Prakriti is doing, nor I am doing, it is he who is doing it. The Lord is working through each one of us. As a sun he shines, as a wind he blows, as the water he runs. We have not done that, thank God. Otherwise we can stop it. Okay, for Russia, no more water, no more sun. We don't decide that. It is he, whatever the power. That is why it says, Bhishasmat vadapavate, Bhishad udedi surya, Bhishad indrascha agnischa mrityurdhavade panchamayiti. All these power, that is sun, the fire, the water, the wind, all are happening because of the phenomenal power which is there in Ishvara. So in the religious parlance we see that the God decides what to happen. God is the one who is working through all of us. Now let us keep that in, later on we'll go beyond that. So if you understand, see, if I am talking to you, I can talk to you only when you are there. I cannot talk to the chairs. Gurudev used to say, I am here because you want me, and you are here because you want me. Right? I am here talking because you need me. Without that, I am not going to talk to the chairs. So as much as I need you, you need me, and therefore there is a transaction here. Is it not the mutual requirement that makes us come together? So when you are going out in the road, the roads are clean. The cleaning of the road is being done by somebody. You don't know who it is. But because of that alone, you are able to go in the road. Let us say you are sitting and eating the food. The food that is there in front of you as a table, and the breakfast or lunch, it is prepared by someone. Maybe your own husband, or not, okay, wife. So she had prepared, and she could prepare because she could procure the things from the market, and that came to the market because somebody, you don't even know who actually even grew that grains and other things. You don't know, but you are enjoying it. So whatever I am experiencing is because of the unknown faces, so many unknown faces. Through those so many unknown hands and legs, it is the Lord who is working. That's why we chant in some Purusha Suktam. What is that? Sahasra Shirusha Purushaha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat. He has 1,000 eyes and 1,000 hands and 1,000 legs, meaning innumerable. Through many hands and many heads and many mouths and many faculties, he is doing that work. Nobody can take credit. I am the one who did that. No. So once a scientist said that I think we have created everything and we have made everything possible. I think God, even creation is done by us nowadays. You please take a back seat. Because they can, what you call test tube baby. We can create babies out of our own. You don't need to be there. We will do it ourselves. Bhagavan said, okay, very smilingly said, okay. You have created everything. You can create anything and everything. Yes. Okay. Okay, just create a mud pot. Let us see how you do it. Oh, I'll take the mud. That is my creation. Don't touch that. I take a water. That is my creation. Don't touch that. I take my hand. That is also my creation. Don't touch that. How will you create without something which is already created? Is it not that we are using what is already there and then making it possible? So, Sarvada Panipadam Yat Sarvadoksh Shiromugam Sarvada Shrudimalloge Sarvam Avritya Tishtati. He has everybody's hands and legs and eyes and mouth, he alone remains there. So what is Brahman? The totality. Expressed Brahman is Ishvara. The one which is identified with the Samashti Loka, that power which is working through the entire faculty is Ishvara. By himself is Brahman. That's like you, when you are working in your own home, you are a husband, and you have to work, you are a boss, and in some other place you are a friend. You are you, but playing many roles. But you as a you, in neither a husband, nor a brother, nor a sister, you are not. You are you. Similarly, Brahman is, but as the creator, he becomes Ishvara. So when you say God, God is an expressed nature of consciousness through many faculties. So this is how religion and philosophy is so closely connected in Hinduism. So when you understand the religion, you also understand beyond the religion is the spirituality, the philosophy, but it is very much connected to this. It is not something opposed to it. So when I thus even take a grain of food, I must be thankful to millions of people who could make it possible. And I cannot, therefore one who is functioning through all of them, I thank the Lord. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi Brahmagno Brahmanahutam. Whom are you calling there? I don't know who it was, who made this possible, but I know it is Brahman. It is that supreme force alone could make everything happen. So to then Brahman, that supreme Adaya, offering. I am not the doer. You are not the doer. Through you and me, it is one that is working. To that I offer. He alone works. Thy will be done. When we do the arti also, Tera tujhko arpan kya lage mera. And then take the plate. Mera plate. The Bhagavan smiles. You say everything is yours, and then you take everything home. Tera tujhko arpan. I am giving back to you what is yours. We say that, but we don't mean it anyway. So he smiles. Okay, anyway, foolish fellows. You keep saying something, but you don't really mean it. So, Brahmani Adaya, surrendering to that Brahman who is working through all hands and legs and eyes and ears and nose and tongue and all of them. So, therefore, he doesn't own to be a owner of action. He is not a karta. Brahmani Adaya karmani karodiyaha sangam tyaktva. Without attachment, he who does, such an individual, even though he is functioning, nalipyase papena. He is not affected by the result. The Gurudev used to say, action gives result to the one who thinks he is an actor. It is the ego alone that carries the impression of being an actor, and to that actor alone is the result. The one who has given up the ego and acts, to him the results won't come. It won't touch. Even if he does the most worst crime in this world, it won't touch him. Once he gave this example, He was in Siddhabari, he was inside his kutir, he's taking rest. It was usually 4 o'clock in the evening, he would be out to meet all the devotees. And it is around 4 or past 4 o'clock, he said. There was a police van, police jeep came and stood outside the ashram. So then the security guards said, yes, how can I help? I want to talk to your Swami, a police officer said. May I know for the reason? I need to talk to him, just sit. When does he come out? He usually comes out at 4 o'clock. I would like to talk to him. Because they have found out this Balakrishna Menon was a criminal. And he has done a lot of crimes and he has assumed the name of Swami Chinmayananda. So therefore now they have, after 40 years, they have found out. That criminal who was living in Kerala, who has done so much of crime, now he has become Swami Chinmayananda, fooling the people for the past 40 years. Therefore, they have decided to arrest him. So they came with a warrant. So then they were directed to the kutir and everybody was waiting, all the devotees. They never expected police officers to come here. Anyway, they were saying, maybe they are also devotees, maybe. The police officer also waited outside, 4 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock. There's no sign of this Swami coming out. What's happening? They asked authoritatively. So then the devotee is there. I think he's taking a longer rest. We have warrant to arrest him. Everybody was shocked. Warrant? Yes. We will just open the door and go. They went to the door. It was not locked. They opened the door only to find that the Swami is dead. Once the Swami is dead, what can the warrant do? What can the police do? They tore the warrant, saluted and went home. Who is the criminal here? The one who is acting through this physical body, the ego, that ego alone is the criminal. The one who did the action is a... Don't think that he really a criminal. I'm just giving some joke only. Don't think, oh, I think that Balakrishna Menon was a criminal or what. No. That's the way he does. He puts the things.